So I'm so excited to be here because it was just about this time last year, Shannon and David initially had the idea of having an MCP Summit, Dev Summit. And it took them like a little bit over a month. So the summit really didn't happen until late May. So we're just over 10 months from the first summit. And the first summit was really cool. It was small. It was like 200 people. One track, I know some of you were there, and one day, and just look at how much this community has grown. It's so exciting. So it's also great to be following Amazon and Uber, the giants of our industry. And it's great to see they're adopting MCP. And as a startup, we help the rest of the enterprise and the startup ecosystem. So some of our customers are financial institutions or reasonably sized companies. But many of folks we work with, they're literally just getting started in the AI and MCP and agent journey as well. So in many cases, MCP, they've seen is actually the first entry into their AI and agent journey. So I just have to thank the two engineers from Uber because they said exactly what I wanted to say. Because, I mean, honestly, for those of you who are just starting, you're in a business, you're just starting to look at MCP or agents, those are the two pieces of technology you got to think about. An MCP Gateway and an MCP Registry, which is exactly what Uber did. And that's how you get yourself started. And the reason you want to get these things started is because they give the admin, or if you're an enterprise, an IT, a point of control. So you know what's going on. Otherwise, you really don't know what's happening in all these MCP clients and hosts that spreads all over your organization anymore. So, and this show, if you go out, talk to sponsors in the exhibit hall, I would say maybe a third, maybe even half of the vendors will be providing solutions that look kind of just like this, a variation of this. So there's plenty of choices. Definitely, Obot makes one, but we're certainly not the only one. There are many registries and gateways in there. You don't have to build from scratch anymore. And they provide the obvious kind of functionalities that you would expect. And I want to talk about, for the rest of the, for the next 5 minutes, I just want to talk about where this thing is going. Because we built this literally maybe 6 months ago. We started marketing this and selling this. And the world has already changed. And a lot of it is caused by the change in the agent development framework itself. So as you know, like MCPs, for whatever it is, it fundamentally needs to serve agents. That's what people need MCPs for. And the way you build agents has changed quite a lot. A couple of years ago, agents were like a RAG chatbot. That was an agent, right? And then we saw, I think these days we see a lot of workflow agents. And workflows you can certainly write with workflow tools. With NNN, Temporal, there's many workflow tools on the market today, very powerful. And there's also coding tools, code tools, not coding tools. I think people realize, I think I read somewhere in one of the MCP summits, someone said, oh, agent is basically just a code loop. Makes a lot of sense, some Python code that repeatedly loops around and tries to achieve a goal. But nowadays, with code generation, with coding assistance, and with MCP, none of this stuff is even necessary anymore. The agents I see people develop today, I see our customers develop today, they kind of look like skills. They look like skills, some markdown files and code that's generated by some code generator. And on top of that, what used to be the SDK and framework, now it kind of seems to be taken over by things like MCP layer. But of course, it's more than just the MCP. It could be the CLI, could be the Agentic browser, could be a skills library, and could be many, many other things. So we're definitely seeing, again, that's a word I saw from the Uber folks. Like just the word runtime, it started to happen. Now, instead of calling these things as just an SDK and framework, it has these entities that's running. And it really doesn't matter how you access them. Many of these things like MCP have standard protocols, so they can be accessed by whatever agent you develop. And then underneath the runtime, what we're seeing is security and governance layers started to form out of technologies like the MCP Gateway. But that's not the only control point either, because for some of the access control and governance, you also need to know, frankly, what the model is doing. So the gateway doesn't necessarily see everything that's sent to the model. So the LLM, having some visibility into the LLM gateway, direct things that's sent, that's kind of useful too. Secrets management. Recently there's been quite a few incidents where the software supply chain was attacked by some well-known libraries, and it would be extremely bad if those compromised software gets into your, say, MCP or gets into your skills library. So software supply chain filtering is now also becoming a key part of the gateway layer. And with that, the security and governance of enterprise agents are achieving a great deal of attention. And you got to deal with those two areas. You need both a secure, isolated runtime, which means for most of the enterprise customers we talk to, it is not really desirable to run the enterprise-grade agents on the desktop. Like engineers run Claude Code, which is great. But if it's an agent developed by the third party, you don't want to let it take over the whole desktop. Then on top of that, you want to make sure you want to know who the agent is running on behalf of. And then you probably don't, even the agent is running on behalf of you, and then that has access, say, to your Outlook account. You want to make sure it cannot really access the Outlook account the same way you can get access to. Like, it cannot just send emails like the way you can. You probably still want another level of access control to make sure the sensitive emails, you approve those emails before they get sent. With these kind of architecture, there's some interesting opportunities are beginning to rise, because these agents are written a little bit differently from traditional monolithic SaaS applications. Like a Salesforce app does all the access control for itself. Like if you're a sales VP, you see all your deals. You're a sales director, you see the deals in your territory. If you're account executive, you see your own deal. So they have all of that. But nowadays, with agents, the surface area that data needs to get accessed by AI nowadays is a lot wider. So as a result of that, we're seeing the access control and policy layer getting elevated out of the application layer, out of the agent layer, and now into the gateway layer. So that's a great place that something like MCP Gateway could come into play. So with all of that, we're seeing the MCP Gateway and MCP Registry architecture that I saw in the beginning evolving. So if you kind of look at our latest product, we've gone far beyond what a MCP Gateway and a traditional MCP Gateway and MCP Registry can do. The agent runtime layer is becoming quite important. And the gateway itself, nowadays involves things that we do to the skills, to the software supply chain. And from the catalog, you don't just see MCP Registry anymore. You see things like skills. So with that, I'd just like to wrap up. If you need more information, please feel free to drop by our booth. I'll be at the booth most of the time. And also send me an email. Thank you very much.